Chumash and Rashi, the Torah portion. Pinchas, we're in the fifth reading. Today we learn about the offerings.
I knew that Pinchas was a Cohen. That's what learned today.
That's what, well, that was already. Not today.
No, but I learned it.
Right. Hi. Okay. Vidaber Hashem El Moshe Lemor. You have it there? You have the page? Page 1000. Yeah. Top of the page, 1092. Okay. Saab, this verse now is what we learned this week on Sunday Torah studies.
Mhm.
This is the verse. Saab has been Israel. Command the Israelites. And say to them, it's karbani, my offering. Carbon is an offering. Comes from the word close, karov. Lachmi is my bread, my offering is my bread. Leishai, for my fire, meaning the fire of the altar, my fire. Reach nichayach, it is a pleasant fragrance. Tishmeru, you shall heed, lahakriv, to bring it, to offer it, li, for me. But moyadoy, and that was the word that we were, Rashi will explain, and that we based on our Torah studies. But moyadoy, in its appropriate time, in its appointed time. Rashi. Tav has been Israel, command the Israelites, Mamor Lamaila. What does it say above this? Right. So Rashi is pointing out the juxtaposition, the fact that before this was V'yifkod Hashem, that Hashem should appoint the God of spirits of all flesh. He should appoint. So God said to him, Ad ata mitzavini al banai. So rather than you command me about my children, Save is b'nei abanai alai, command my children about me. Right? What happened previously? Remember, we pointed out yesterday that Moshe told God what kind of leader he should choose. Right? What kind of leader he should choose, which that itself kind of a little odd. Isn't God, know what kind of leader to choose? Why is he telling him? Right? So now Rashi is saying over here, the juxtaposition of this is that rather than you command me about what I should do for my children, you should command the children about me. Mashal, this is analogous to Bas Melech. This can be compared to the daughter of the king. She was about to depart from the world. She was dying. The daughter of the king. This is a metaphor. And she gave instructions to her husband, Al-Baneha, regarding her children. As it says in the Sifri. Right? So it continues there. There's a whole sikh on this that we learned last year, as a matter of fact. Beautiful sikh on this. But, why are you commanding me about the children? The husband says to the wife who's dying, right? Why don't you command the children what they should do for me? This is what God is saying. Why are you commanding me what I should do for the children? Right? Who's the one who's dying? Moshe. That's the wife, right? It says the husband, God, command the children what they should do for me. A lot of questions on this that we perhaps we'll get into later if we have time. Okay, next. Carboni, my offering. What is the offering? Ze'adam. This is the blood. In other words, when you're bringing the offering on the altar, that's for me, is the blood. Which means a lot of things on that, you have to have intention of what you're bringing the offering for when you sprinkle the blood on the altar and so on. Okay. Continued. Lachmi, my food. What is it? What's the food? Elamurim. These are the stated parts that of the animal's body that are to be offered. So the oil offering, meaning it means the portions that are going to be put on the altar that are going to be completely consumed. Right, that's what it means, food. It means, right. Likewise, it says that the kohen shall cause them to go up and smoke on the altar. Lechem ishay, a food of fire. Right, we had that earlier in Leviticus, so it means the things that are on the altar that are going to be burnt up as an ascent offering. What we're learning over here is the daily offering on the altar, called korban tamid. Tamid means continual, continuous, daily. The daily offering, as we will see. Okay, continuing in Rashi. Leishai, for my fires, what does that mean? And that are given on the fires of my altar. Tishmeru, you shall watch, you shall keep. What does that imply? Shiva Kohanim Levim Yisrael Loimdim al Gaba. It means the Kohanim and the Levites and the Israelites should stand over this offering. Right, you have to stand over it in your duties. Mikan Lamda, from here we learned Hiknu Mamadas that instituted Mamadas means standing groups, meaning there were groups of Kohanim that had their week, that they had to do their service and had to stand over the offerings. That's what the implication is here. The last Rashi, which this is the Rashi that we learned on Sunday in Torah studies, B'moyadei, in its appointed time, B'chol yoyim, which is every day, Humoyadat midim, is the appointed time of the continual offering. Remember, we asked a question over here. What is Rashi adding over here? We're going to learn that now. That is going to be every day in the morning and in the afternoon. So what did Rashi add over here? So if you want to find out, you can go on YouTube and get the class from Sunday. Okay, verse number 3. Amarta lahem, and you should say to them, this is the fire offering asher takriva that they must offer lahashem, to God. Kvasim is a lamb, b'nei shana, that's a year old, mimim, which is unblemished, pure, shnayim layoim, 2 per day, oila sami. It is an ascent offering. Oila means it's an ascent, meaning it's completely consumed on the altar. Tamid, that's the word that we said, a continual offering, meaning daily offering, every day, right? Including Shabbos, including holidays and so on. Right? We will learn soon about Shabbos, and that's called the Musaf offering, right? The additional offering. And that's why today, in the place of sacrifices, we have the daily service called Shachris, and on Shabbos and holidays and Rosh Chodesh, we have Musaf, the additional offering. Okay, Rashi number 3. And you shall say to them, and this is a warning to the court. This is a warning to the court. What? Why? What? How does Rashi? Why does Rashi say that? Because in the previous verse it already said, command the Israelites and say to them. Okay. Now you're saying to them. So who's saying this now? So Rashi is explaining this is not redundant because it's the court that has the responsibility to make sure that the service in the temple is done, daily in its appropriate manner. Shnaim liyayim, 2 per day. What does that mean? Kipshuta, it means literally. Nikra bar lalamid. But the very fact that it's being written comes to teach us. So what is it coming to teach us over here? Because it seems, the next verse is going to tell us, like, why does it have to say Shnaim liyayim, 2 per day? The next verse says 1 in the morning, and then later it's going to say 1 in the afternoon. We know 1 plus 1 equals 2, right? So why does the verse have to say 2? Right? The Rashi says, it means, according to the simple meaning, the very fact that it came to write as it comes to teach us, that this daily offering should be slaughtered keneged hayoim, opposite the sun. Tamid shel shacher, the morning offering, b'mariv, in the west, where the sun's rays fall. The Shabbat Arbaim, and the evening offering, b'mizroche shel tabas, on the east side of the rings. Whoa. How do you get this out of here? Aha. So but it's coming to say Shnayim layoim, 2 per day, right? So remember, that's redundant. So Rashi is saying that it is layoim, to the day. What does it mean, to the day? Meaning, where's the day? Where's the day? Where the sun shines, right? That's where the day is. So in the morning, where's the day? No, where the sun shines, not where it rises, where it shines. So it rises in the east. So where's the sun going to shine? On the west, right? Because it's rising over here. So it's going to be on. It's going to be on the opposite where the rays are going to hit. So it means the morning one has to be you have to slaughter the animal on the west side. In the afternoon, the sun is going to be going from the west. So now you have to slaughter it on the east side. That's what it means, those words. Okay? Got it? And if you didn't get it, don't worry. Next year, we're going to learn this again. So by next year, you'll get it. Or, of course, you can listen to it again. Or you can ask a question. But if you don't, then we're moving on. Okay, verse number 4. And the lamb, the one lamb, Tasa, you shall make it Babaker in the morning. And the second lamb, Tasa, you should make it Ben Arboim in the afternoon. Rashi in number 4, the one lamb, Even though it already said earlier in the book of Exodus, it said, "This is what you shall offer." That was the command for the day's inauguration of Aaron and his sons into being Kohanim, into the priesthood. The Kansiva, but here it's the commandment for all future generations. Others, we already know about this idea of bringing an offering in the morning and one in the afternoon, but that was only for the inauguration time period, and maybe that was not, something for future generations. Here we learn it's for all future generations. Verse number 5, Asirus Ephah, together with the offering, you have to bring 1/10 of an ephah of soilus, fine flour, lemindcha, for the grain offering. In other words, in addition with the animal, you're also bringing a grain offering that's made from fine flour, balula that's mixed, b'shemen with oil. What kind of oil? Olive oil. Kosis that is crushed. Revis hahin, of that oil is 1/4 of a hin. Thank you. Not only do we have David's coffee today, we also have Shmuel's breakfast, l'chaim, in Caesar's palace. Shmuel, we have new students over here for breakfast. Ask them if they want. Ask them if they want.
No rice. What? No, there's no rice cakes.
Okay. Rashi in number 5. Soilus minchas nesochim. This is the grain offering of libations that usually accompany a sacrifice. Okay. Oilos number 6. Oilos samid. This is a burnt offering, tamid, continual. Ha'suya bahar Sinai, as it was offered on Mount Sinai. L'reich nichoyach, it is a pleasant fragrance. Ishe, a fire offering, lahashem, to God. So what does this mean that it was done at Mount Sinai? Number 6 of Rashi. Ha'suya bahar Sinai, that was done at Mount Sinai. Performed at Mount Sinai. Like those continual offerings that were performed in the day of inauguration, right? As we mentioned previously, when was all this started? In the 7 days of inauguration, which was started from the 23rd of Adar until Rosh Chodesh on Nisan, which then began the offerings on the altar by Arai. Before that, it was an inauguration preparation by Moshe. Okay, so that's the first explanation. That's what it means that as performed in Mount Sinai. Davar Acher, alternative explanation. What does it mean? Hasuya Bahar Sinai, that it was performed in Mount Sinai. Makisher Tami. This compares the continual offering, daily offering, Elas Har Sinai, to that of Mount Sinai. Those that were offered before the Torah was given, Kasubah, it says, V'yosem Ba'aganais. Moshe took half of the blood and placed it in basins. Balaam, this teaches us Shetu'una Kli, that continual offering requires a vessel to catch the blood. Wow. Right, because in other words, it doesn't say anywhere, it says about the blood that has to be sprinkled on the altar, but it doesn't say anywhere that you need to have a basin, a vessel that the blood should be put into. So that's how we know that you have to have a basin. Verse number 7, Veniskai, and it's libation. Libation means the pouring of a liquid, right? We have the animal, the meat of the animal that is completely consumed on the altar. We have the meal offering that goes together with it, that is made out of grain and oil. And now we have a libation, as we will see, that comes from wine. So this libation, revis hayin, is 1/4 of ahin is the amount. Lekevus echad, for every offering of a lamb, for each lamb, bakaidish, that is in holiness, right? It's poured in holiness. Seich nesach shechar laHashem. It's poured in holiness It's a sheichar. Sheichar means it's a strong, something strong, a strong drink, which strong wine. La Hashem, for the sake of God. Let's see Rashi. Veniskai, a libation. Rashi says yayin, that it's meaning it's wine. Yeah. And this Bakedesh Haseh, you poured it in holy. It's poured on the altar. That's what it means in holy, because the altar is holy. So you're doing that on the altar in holiness. Nesach sheichar. It's a libation of a hard drink. Sheichar is a hard drink. Yayinamishaker means wine that's intoxicated. Now, you couldn't use Rashi wine. Look at that. Learning Rashi, and you couldn't use Rashi wine because Rashi wine is 5.5% or 4%. Whatever. 5%. Ah, 4, whatever. Well, it's not something could get you drunk, even if you drank a whole bottle, right? So look at that. Rashi wine you can't use, but you could use some other Israeli wine or French wine, something that is Manischewitz for sure. Pratl and Migita, this excludes wine that's directly from the wine press because it is not yet fermented. And what do we call that? Wine from the press? Grape juice, because it didn't ferment yet. Can't use that. Okay, number 8. And the second lamb offering, you should make it in the afternoon, and you should do it like the grain offering of the morning. And likewise, it's libation. You shall make it as a fire offering, a pleasant fragrance, la Hashem, to God. Rashi, pleasant fragrance, nachas ruach. What is the satisfaction that you're giving to God? Before me, God says that I said something and you did it. You carried out God's will. That's what it is. Okay, verse number 9. So we finished with the daily offering. Now we're going to the Shabbos offering, right? And the Shabbos offering is called, what is it called? Musaf, exactly. Musaf means additional. What's it additional to? The daily offering. And now the daily offering is also done on Shabbos, which means you're slaughtering the animal, you have a fire that you're putting it on the fire on Shabbos. Okay. So this offering, on the day of Shabbos, 2 lambs, B'nai Shana, that are also a year old, Tamimim, that are unblemished, that are complete, whole, pure, Hushnei Yisrainim, and 2 Esrainim, the Seilis Mincha, that are refined flour, Mincha, as a meal offering, B'lulav Shemen, that is mixed with oil, Beniskoi, together with the libation. Rashi, and number 10, sorry, we're not, first we have to do the verse before. Oile Shabbos, the ascent offering on Shabbos, b'Shabbatei, on its Shabbos, which Rashi will pick up on that. What do you mean? And we just said it's on Shabbos. What do you mean it's on its Shabbos? In addition to, al means upon, meaning here in context means in addition, the daily continuous offering, Beniskai, with its libation. Rashi, number 10, what does it mean that it is an ascent offering on Shabbos? On its Shabbos, this implies Allah, that's Shabbos, but that's Shabbos, but not an the Shabbos. the Shabbos Acheres on another Shabbos. What does that mean? If there was a situation that you did not bring this oil offering on Shabbos, on this Shabbos, Shemeani, I understand from this, Yakriv Shtayim, that I should offer two on the following Shabbos, the Shabbos Habo. Talmud Loimar, but the verse that says B'Shabbatai, this comes to teach us, and on its Shabbos, Magi, this tells us that if you didn't bring it on its day, the Shabbos offering, Batal Karbonai, the offering is cancelled. Alaleis Tamid, in addition to the continual offering, Ela Musafim, these are the added Levada Isa Mishnei Kvasim, besides the two sheep, Alaleis Tamid, that are a continuous offering every day. Magi, this tells us Shein Krevim Ela Ben Shnei Atmidim, that you only bring this additional offering between the two daily offerings. What are the two daily offerings? One in the morning and one in the afternoon. So when's the Musaf one brought? In between. Why? Because the word says al oilas tami, upon, meaning over and above, meaning after. After. That's the implication here. Right? So when is Musaf Daven? After Mincha?
No,
Why not?
because it's in between.
Because that's what the verse just said. It's in between.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we do it right after,
After the morning offering.
Yeah.
Likewise with our Musaf offerings, this is Tamid, and each one it says upon, meaning in addition to the continual daily offering, the Talmud Zeh, for this lesson. Got it. Beautiful. Verse number 11. Now we finish with Shabbos. Now that we finish with Shabbos, now we go to Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh, and the heads of the months, Takrivu, you shall offer Oila la Hashem, an ascent offering to God. Parim b'nei vakar. Folks, we're focused. Parim b'nei vakar. Oh, look what's different over here. You're bringing a bull. B'nei bakar, that's a year old. Shnayim, two of them. Ba'ayal echad, and one ram. Vasim b'nei shana, and one ram, and also you're bringing lambs. B'nei shana, they're a year old. Shiva, 7 of them. Tmimi, that are pure. Wow, a lot more we're bringing here on Rosh Chodesh. Shloish esrainim, and 3/10 fine, say there's a fine flour. Before it was how many tenths? 2/10 was on Shabbos. And Shnei esrainim, 2/10, right? Nizkar Revis Hayin, and for the daily it's 1/10. Shabbos is 2/10, and here is 3. So let's have fine flour mincha belula, that is a meal offering that is mixed b'shemen with oil lapar for the bull ha'echad, the one. Hushnei esrainim, and 2 esrainim seilis mincha for the mincha offering, a fine flour belula that is mixed b'shemen with oil ayal echad for the one ram. Okay, let's see. Rashi Esrainim Kamishpat Niskei Par. This is being the libation for the bulls. Shekain and Tzuvim B'Parshas Nesachim. So it is in the regarding the libations. V'Isarain, Isarain, and 1/10 of an ephah, a fine flour, mincha of a meal offering, blula that's mixed, v'shem with oil, kevzechad for the one lamb. This is an ascent offering, meaning it's completely consumed on the altar. A pleasant fragrance, a fire offering, Lashem. Number 14, Beniskehem and their libations. So that was the meal offering. Now it's about the libations. Chetzi ahin, a half ahin of wine, as opposed to Shabbos. Is a quarter of a hin. Here it's a half, it's a double amount, right? The par for the bull, shleish is hahin, and a third of ahin la'ayil for the ram. Or hayin and a quarter hayin lakevis yayin for the lamb, yayin wine. Before it didn't say wine. Remember what it said before? What was it called? Sheikhar. No, hard liquor. Not liquor, but a hard. Right. Lakevis yayin. Zois Eilas Chodesh. This is the ascent offering of the month. Bechotshai in its month. Bechotshai Hashana for the months of the year. Rashi Zois Eilas Chodesh Bechotshai. So Rashi says also the same idea over here that we have B'Shabbos. Shema Avar Yaimai, that if the day had passed, meaning of Rosh Chodesh, and you didn't bring the offering, Batul Kabarnai, it is now canceled. This offering. And you have no makeup for it. There's no makeup for it. If you missed it on Rosh Chodesh, you're going to bring it in the next Rosh Chodesh. Verse number 12, or 15 rather. Final verse of the day. And the he-goat, for a sin offering Lashem to God, al oilas, this is all upon, meaning after the daily offering you shall make, and viniskoi, and its libation. Okay, Rashi 15. Here Izim, one male goat, Kol Seirim Musafim, all the he goats that are additional offering, Boim Lachaper, they come to atone, Altumas Mikdash Bikadaishav, for the impurity of the base of Mikdash and its sacred objects. In other words, if someone came in impure, served with impurity, or the objects became impure in the holy temple. So this offering is bringing an atonement for that. Hakol Shavuos. This is all explained in the tractate of Shavuos, in the Talmud. And the he-goat of the first of the month is treated differently in the Torah from all of the other festivals, because it says about it that it is to God, the sin offering. This to teach you, meaning it atones for the one who doesn't have any awareness, neither at the beginning or nor at the end, that they did something wrong. So this he-goat comes to atone for even things that you're not aware of. Right? So it atones for one who does not have any words, not at the beginning, not at the end. It doesn't recognize the sin. Only God does. That's what it means when it says over here, Sir Izim La Hashem. What do you mean it's a chatas? It's a sin offering to God. Meaning only God knows that you did the sin. You don't even recognize you did the sin. What kind of sin? That you came impure into the holy temple, or that artifacts in the holy temple became impure. And all the rest of the he goats are derived from it. Derived from it, meaning that the he goat for sin offerings on the festival is derived for the purpose of the he goat of the first of the month. In other words, we learn it from here. That also when you bring he goats on the festival, that for atonement, that bring atonement even for the things that you're not aware of. Because there it doesn't say, I guess it doesn't say La Hashem. That's a simple meaning. Midrash Agada, and the midrashic interpretation in the Agada, Amar Kodesh Baruch Hu, God said, Heviu kapara alai, bring an atonement for me. Shemi mitamti esayarea, because I reduced the size of the moon. Why do we have Rosh Chodesh? Wow, interesting, huh? How do we have a new month? It's based on the moon, right? Well, what did God do in the beginning of creation? The sun and the moon were the same size. But God made the moon smaller. He reduced it. So God is saying, bring atonement for me. Right? Because remember, it says here, Chatus la Hashem. It's a sin for God. So what? Huh? He diminished the moon. If you read Rashi in Bereshis, you remember there that God created the sun and the moon.
Two luminaries.
Right? As two luminaries. How are they two luminaries? One's a luminary, one's a reflection of the other. Right? Rashi explains anyway, whatever. I'm not going to go there right now in the detail. You have to look it up over there.
The moon and the sun. So the moon was diminished.
So the God is saying this is an atonement for me that I diminish the moon, right?
Do we understand from here that God had humility? Obviously, he made no mistake, right? How would you bring an atonement for God? I mean, God make a mistake? He didn't make a mistake.
It doesn't say he made a mistake. It doesn't say he made a mistake. It's an atonement. Atonement.
We just talked about something that you didn't even realize that you did a sin. That's atonement. And you were following with that. Why would you say that? So it seems Hashem is humble.
Okay, we'd have to look up the Rebbe Sikh on this, which there is. Allah, this is Talmid Yaseh. In addition to the continual offering you shall make, Al Korban Hazeh, this entire offering, it refers to the entire offering. The Niskai and the libation ain't Niskai Musav Alasoyer. The libation does not refer to the Higot in Nisachim Lachatis because there's no libation for sin offering. In other words, it goes on the previous, all the other offerings. Wow. Okay. We don't really have time. I wish we had time to go into some of the sichas, but God willing. All right. We'll see you shortly, folks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.